as we said before the break, Division 3 football continues this weekend. 3 games coming up. It has to be said they're all with sides well entrenched inside the top 4, playing sides that probably have no chance of playing finals footy this year, but hopefully there's an upset somewhere along the lines. And I know last time there was the Queen's birthday break when only Division 3 played. There were 3 one-sided games. Hopefully a lot closer this time around. But at the weekend, Panton Hill again firmly, cemented its place at the top of the table, but also made sure that it was the standalone premiership favourite, a massive win against the Thomastown Football Club. That was probably the biggest result to come out of the weekend. The margin, quite surprising, that 10-goal buffer really wasn't to be expected given the fact that Thomastown actually beat the Redbacks last time around. Yeah,
remembering they did win last time around, and I gave them a genuine chance at Thomastown to win this game. Looking at Pan Hill, it was a great win in the end. My only concern is how they're going to go in the final series, playing on the big ground in the Epping footy ground, but at the moment they're doing really well and secured that top spot.
Winning by such big margins as well against some of their biggest foe. I know earlier in the year they touched up Watsonia last time around much closer, but they've also given Reservoir a fair touch up earlier in the season as well. So they had that psychological edge, I feel, over most sides going into the final series, but obviously still a lot of footy to be played before then. Top 4 now looks sealed as well. Reservoir beating the Parkside Football Club with a big last quarter to overcome an earlier deficit. So that was a big result as well. You think those top 4 sides are well on the way of playing finals footy this year. First game we'll take a look at this weekend sees the Panton Hill Football Club play Parkside. Coincidentally, they actually played the last time we had a bye in the top 2 divisions, and that I take that back. That was Panton Hill playing St Mary's that day, so my mistake there. But Panton Hill certainly goes in his favour against Parkside this time around. They gave him a fair old touch-up earlier in the year, 120-odd points. Did lose to them in round 1, so there have been 2 pretty differing results this time around. Though you would think that Panton Hill would win quite well. And again, as I say, just further cement that place in first spot and ensure they win a second consecutive minor premiership.
Yeah, certainly, and Parkside would need to kick a lot more than 2 goals they did last time. It was a huge loss last time. They'll need to really bounce back from that. I'll certainly be going with Pan Hill to take the points. They're disappointing for Parkside. They lost against Reservoir, pretty much ending any chance they had for a finals berth, but I'll certainly be going with Pan Hill.
At the weekend, Ben Finnan kicked 8 goals, which is the most of any Panton Hill player this year. I guess the thing that surprised me is Joffa Byram was still named the first best. That's not so much surprising. What surprised me is his ability to have played so well as a key forward last year and to move into defence and work off half-back. He's been sensational this year, arguably having just as good a year this year than he had last year. It's amazing that a player could go from being the leading goal kicker in the comp, kicking over 100 goals in the year, and then moving down back. It's a credit to, I guess, Dean Haydock and his coaching to be able to have the courage to make such a move, and it's worked so well for Panton Hill. Finnan reaping the rewards of that at the weekend with 8 goals. Reservoir takes on St Mary's this weekend. These sides have had some really good tussles in recent seasons. Of course, the last time they played, Reservoir won. That was the match of the day by 8 points in a really close affair. This time around, it's again it's 4th versus 5th, but probably not so much to play for now for St Mary's, despite breaking a 5-game losing streak at the weekend. Obviously, they'd love to get more wins in the run home, but you'd think now that, as I said, at the top 4 seal with a 3-game advantage between Reservoir and 5th place St Mary's.
Yeah, I think St Mary's season's pretty much all but over. Even if they win every game, I think it's still going to be a pretty rough chance. I guess the positive side to this game is that St Mary's have been really competitive. They've played some great games against Reservoir. It's going to be interesting to battle, see how they go. I'm still going to be going for his Reservoir, but I think it will be probably just a couple of kicks in it.
So they broke that 5-game losing streak, but early on they looked in genuine trouble against Heidelberg West at the weekend. Did the St Mary's Football Club, trailed by 4 goals, and maybe it was the wake-up call they needed. I'm not 100% sure, but certainly worked back into gear after half-time, 9 goals to 2, so a better defensive effort certainly in getting a much-needed victory. It keeps some pressure on them. If they're able to get over Reservoir this weekend, that gap closes to 2 games. A lot would have to go right from here, but it's more unlikely than likely at this stage. But a big game coming up, and as we said, always a close game when those 2 sides meet. This one at Chris Parker, just on Reservoir as well. That pretty similar situation that last week, and they overcame Parkside, trailed early on. It was inaccurate kicking that really plagued them early. At half time, 3 goals 12 to 5 goals 4, so 15 scoring shots to 9, and they were behind. Thereafter, a comfortable enough win. Had a really big start to the last quarter, which got them over the line, and Toby O'Meara finished with 5 goals. The final game for us to take a look at this weekend is Heidelberg West and Watsonia. These 2 sides have been the bottom 2 sides in the past 2 years. completely different scenario this time around, and Watsonia, the raging hot favourite, they've moved into second place and they're playing the bottom place Hawks.
And I'll certainly be going for Watsonia to defeat Heidelberg West. Heidelberg West, though, not disgraced last week. Had they gone on with it, they've played some great footy this season, but once again, a good lead against St Mary's and they blew it away, and unfortunately another loss for them. Watsonia, though, I think have been really impressive this season. I expect them to have another big win against Heidelberg West.
So disappointing for Heidelberg West because they've had, I know, just reading through the club notes and the record the week before last, saying they had enough of those honourable losses. It's time for us to stand up, have the win, and played so well early on against at the weekend against St Mary's and lost it in the second half, which has been a theme in their past couple of games, and obviously the slow start the week prior against the Thomastown Footy Club. So they've missed some opportunities to win games. This weekend, who knows, perhaps an upset against Watsonia, but it would have to be an upset. As you say, the Saints, well, they moved into second despite not playing last weekend, with Thomastown losing a fair bit of percentage. So at the moment, they're second by 5%. They'll be looking for a big win to further cement their place in second spot. Big weekend coming up. Get out to a local ground. Of course, just the 3 senior games this weekend. There is the netball on Friday night, so too junior footy on Sunday. So make sure you get around the grounds. We'll be back at the same time next weekend. We'll see you then.